Enoch, Book 3, Chapters 72 through 82, the Book of Heavenly Luminaries. This is Enoch chapter 72, the Sun. The book of the itinerary of the luminaries of heaven, the position of each and every one, in respect to their ranks, in respect to their authorities, in respect to their seasons, each one according to the names of the places of origin and according to their months, which Uriel, the Kadesh Malach, who was with me, and who was their guide, showed me. Just as he showed me all the treaties and the nature of the years of the world unto eternity, till the new creation which abides forever is created. This is the first commandment of the luminaries. The sun is the luminary whose agrees is an opening of heaven, which is located in the direction of the east, and whose ingrees is another opening of heaven located in the west. I saw 6 openings through which the sun rises and 6 openings through which it sets. The moon also rises and sets in the same openings, and they are guided by the stars, together with those whom they lead. There are 6 in the east and 6 in the west heaven. All of them are arranged one of another in a consistent order. There are many windows, both to the left and to the right of these openings. First, there goes out the great light whose name is the sun. Its roundness is like the roundness of the sky, and it is totally filled with light and heat. The chariots on which it ascends is driven by the blowing wind. The sun sets in the sky in the west and returns to the northeast in order to go to the east. It is guided so that it shall reach the eastern gate and shine in the face of the sky. In the manner it rises in the first month through the major gate. In this manner it rises in the first month through the major gate. It proceeds through this gate, which is the 4th among those 6 openings which are located in the direction of the east. By this 4th gate, through which the sun rises during the first month, there are 12 open windows from which a flame flows when they are opened at the appropriate time. When the sun rises in the east in the sky, it goes out through the 4th gate with 30 mornings and descends faithfully through the 4th gate in the western sky. During those 30 days in the day, daily becomes longer and nightly shorter for 30 days. On that day, the day is longer than the night by 1/9. So the day turns out to be exactly 10 parts of the night, and the night becomes 8 parts. The sun rises from the 4th eastern gate and sets in the 4th western one, and then it turns and comes into the 5th gate of the east for 30 days, through which it rises and sets in the 5th gate. At that time the day further becomes longer and becomes 11 parts, and the night shortens and becomes 7 parts on the account of the sun. It then returns to the east and comes into the 6th gate, rising and setting through the 6th gate for 30 days according to the principles of the gate. On that day, the day becomes longer and the night still further, so the day becomes 12 parts and the night shortens and becomes 6 parts. Then the sun is raised in such a way that its duration shortens and night occurs. The sun returns to the east and enters the 6th gate, rising and settling through it for 30 days. When 30 days are completed, the day decreases exactly 1 part and becomes 11 parts and the night 7. Then the sun, leaving the west by the 6th gate and going to the east, rises to the 5th gate and for 30 mornings and sets again in the 5th gate in the west. On that day, the day decreases by 2 parts, so that the day becomes 10 parts and the night 8 parts. Then the sun, departing from the fifth gate and setting in the fifth gate in the west, rises in the fourth gate, and for 30 days. For 31 days, according to the principles of the gate, and sets in the west. On that day, the day is aligned with the night, so they become equal. So the night becomes 9 parts, and the day 9 parts. Then the sun, departing from the gate and setting in the west, returns to the east and comes out through the third gate for 30 days and sets in the third gate in the west. On that day, the night becomes longer than the day. It becomes longer than the previous night, and the day becomes shorter than the previous day for 30 days. So the night turns out exactly 10 parts in the day to be 8 parts. Then the sun, departing from the third gate in the west and returning to the east, comes out through the second gate in the east for 30 days, and in the same manner it sets in the second gate in the western sky. On that day the night becomes 11 parts, and the day becomes 7 parts. Then the sun, departing on that day from that second gate and setting in the west, is in the second gate, returns to the east and rises in the first gate for 30 days and sets on that day in the western sky. On that day the night lengthens and becomes 12 parts, whereas the day is shortened and becomes 6 parts. Thus the sun completes its appearances and goes through those same cycles of appearances a second time, coming out through the openings for 30 days and setting also in the west opposite to it. On that night, the length of the night increases by 1/9, so the night becomes 11 parts and the day becomes 7 parts. Then the sun, returning and entering the second gate, which is on the east, resumes its appearances for 30 mornings, rising and setting as usual. On that day the night becomes shorter, so the nights become 10 parts and the day 8 parts. On that day the sun, departing for the second gate and setting in the west, returns to the east and rises through the third gate for 31 days and sets in the western sky. On that day the night shortens and becomes 9 parts, and the day 9 parts. Then the night becomes equal with the day, and the days of the year add up to exactly 364 days. The length of the day and the night, as well as the shortness of the day and the night, are determined by the course of the circuit of the sun, and distinguished by it. The circuit becomes longer or shorter day by day and night by night, respectively. Thus, this is the order of the course of the movement and the settlement of the sun. The great luminary, which is called the sun, for the duration of the years of the universe in respect to its going in and coming out. It is the very luminary which manifests itself in its appearance as Yahweh has commanded that it shall come out and go in this manner. And neither does it diminish in respect to its brightness, nor take rest, but continues to run day and night. As for the intensity of its light, it is 7-fold brighter than that of the moon. Nevertheless, the sun and the moon are equal in regard to their respective sizes. Enoch 73. The moon and the varying amounts of its illustrations. After I saw this set of regulations for the sun, I saw another set of regulations concerning the minor luminary, whose name is moon. Its roundness is like the roundness of the sky, and the wind drives the chariot on which it rides, and it is given light in various measure. Its coming out and its going in change every month. Its days are like the days of the sun, and when its light becomes evenly distributed, then it amounts to the 7th of the light of the sun. If the moon rises in this manner, its head faces the easterly direction, coming out in the 13th day. On that day, that is, on the 13th day, it comes into existence, and it appears with the sun in the gate through the sun's exits, and you have the beginning of the month. Considering half of it to be divisible into 7 parts, the whole disk of it is without light, with the exception of the 7th part of the 14th part of the light of the sun, 1/7 of its half-light. On the day when it receives 1/7 part of its 1/2, as the sun sets, it becomes equivalent to the 1/7 light of 1/2 of it. Then when the sun rises, the moon rises together with it, taking a portion of 1/2 of its light, and the night the moon, just beginning its monthly journey on its first lunar day, sets with the sun and becomes dark in respect to its 13th parts that night. On that day it rises and shines with exactly 1/7 part of its semicircle. Then it comes out and recedes towards the east from where the sun rises, continuing to be brighter in 1/6 of 1/7 of 1/2 of the light of the sun during the remaining days. Enoch 74. The sun-moon relationship in days, months, and years. Furthermore, I saw another system of rotation with its regulation whereby the system fulfills its monthly course of movement. All these things, including their fixed positions, Uriel, the Kadesh Malach, who is the guide of all of them, showed to me. And I wrote down their fixed positions as he showed them to me, and I wrote down their months as they were, as well as the variable aspects of their illumination until the completion of 15 days. The moon wanes in 15 steps during a period of 15 days, and waxes in 14 steps in the east and the west respectively. In certain designated months, it alters its westerly settings, and in certain designated months it fulfills its usual courses of movement. For 2 months, the moon sets with the sun and uses those 2 middle openings, which are the 3rd and the 4th gate. It comes out for 7 days and completes the circuit as it returns again to the gate through which the sun rises. In this manner it waxes and recedes from the sun, entering the 6th gate, through which the sun rises in 8 days. When the sun rises through the 4th gate, the moon comes out for 7 days, until it starts coming out through the 5th. It then turns back toward the 4th gate in 7 days, waxing as it recedes, and enters the 5th gate in 8 days. Then again it returns to the 4th gate, through which the sun rises in 7 days. This is how I saw their fixed positions, how the moon rises and shines when the sun sets in those days. If 5 years are combined, the sun gains 50 extra days. Consequently, one of those 5 years gains, and when it completes, it turns out to be 364 days. The gain of the sun and of the stars turns out to be 10 days in 3 years. 10 days every year added up to 30 days, and the moon falls behind the sun and the stars for 30 days. They bring about all the years punctiliously, so that they forever neither gain upon nor fall behind their fixed positions for a single day. But they convert the year with punctilious justice into 364 days. In 3 years there are 1,092 days, and 5 years 1,820 days, so that in 8 years there are 2,912 days. The moon silently in 3 years its day adds up to 1,062 days, so that it falls behind by 30 days in 3 years. In 5 years they add up to 1,870 days, so that it falls behind by 50 days in 5 years. Thus it is for the moon. In 8 years the days add up to 2,832 days, so that it falls behind by 80 days in 8 years. In this way, the year is completed with precision, in accordance with their fixed positions in the universe and their fixed stations of the sun which shine, the gate through which the sun rises and sets for 30 days. Enoch 75, the 364 fixed stations of the cosmos. The leaders of the chiefs of thousands, which were appointed over the whole creation and upon all the stars, are counted together with the 4 leaders of the seasons. They do not leave from the fixed stations according to the reckoning of the year, and they render service on the 4 days which are not counted in the reckoning of the year. On this account, people err in them, for those luminaries scrupulously render service to the fixed positions in the cosmos. 1 in the first gate of heaven, 1 in the third, 1 in the fourth, 1 in the fifth, and 1 in the sixth. In this manner the year is completed scrupulously in 364 fixed stations of the cosmos. Thus the signs, the duration of time, the years, and the days were shown to me by the Malach Uriel, whom Yahweh Almighty of eternal splendor has appointed over all the luminaries of heaven, both in the heaven and the world, in order that they, the sun, the moon, the stars, and the created objects which circulate in all the chariots of heaven, should rule in the face of the sky and be seen on the earth, to be guides for the day and night. Likewise, Uriel showed me 12 wide openings in the sky along the course of the chariots of the sun, from which the rays of the sun break out, and from which heat is diffused upon the earth, when they are opened during the designated seasons. Their openings affect the winds and the spirit of dew. That is when the 12 wide openings are opened in the sky and the extreme ends of the earth, through which also the sun, the moon, the stars, and the other heavenly objects come out in the west. There are many open windows to the left and to the right, but one window produces the heat as at its designated time in the manner of those openings, through which the stars rise in accordance with their orders and set according to their numbers. I also saw chariots in heaven, running in the universe above those openings, so in which the stars that do not set revolve. One circuit is larger than the rest of them all, and it circles the entire cosmos at the extreme ends of the earth. Enoch 76, the 12 winds and their gates. And I saw the 12 wide openings in all the directions through the winds that came out and blew over the earth. 3 of them are open in the forefront of the sky, 3 in the west, 3 in the right of the sky, and 3 in the left. In other words, the first 3 of those on the morning side, followed by 3 in the direction of the north, and the last 3 are those on the left in the direction of the south, followed by 3 in the west. Through 4 openings blow out winds of blessing, and through 8 of them blow out winds of pestilence. When they are set in order to destroy the whole earth, the water upon her, all those who dwell upon her, and all those who exist in the waters and in the dry land. The first group of winds goes out from those openings, called the easterly, out from the first gate, which is in the direction of the east and inclines towards the south. Proceed extirpation, drought, pestilence, and destruction. Out of the second gate, located directly in the center, proceed rain and fruitfulness together with dew. Out of the third gate, which is in the direction of the northeast, proceed both cold and drought. After these winds, there go out southerly ones through 3 gates. Among these, out of the first gate, which inclines the direction of the east, proceed winds and heat. Out of the central gate, which is next to it, proceeds beautiful fragrance, dew, rain, shalom, and life. And out of the third gate, in the direction of the west, proceed dew, rain, young locusts, and desolation. After these, there goes the group of the northerly winds, whose name is the sea. There proceed from the 7th gate which is in the direction of the east. Toward the south, dew, rain, young locusts, and desolation. Out of the central gate proceed life, rain, and dew directly, and out of the third gate, which is in the direction of the west, which inclines toward the northeast, proceed cloud, frost, snow, rain, dew, and young locusts. After these come out the fourth group of winds, the westerly. Out of the first gate, which is the easterly direction, proceed dew, frost, cold, snow, and hoarfrost. Out of the central gate proceed dew, rain, shalom, and blessing, and out of the last gate, which is in the direction of the south, proceed drought, desolation, burning, and destruction. Thus the 12 openings of the 4 heavenly directions are completed, and all their orders, all their evil effects, and all their beneficial effects have I revealed to you, O my son, Methuselah. Enoch 77. The 4 directions, the 7 mountains, and the 7 rivers. The first direction is called the Orient, because it is the very first. The second is called the South, because Yahweh the Most High will descend there. And the third direction is the Occident. Its name means the diminished, because there all our luminaries of the sky wane and descend. The fourth direction, whose name is the North, is divided into 3 parts. One of them is the dwelling of human beings. The second, the seas of water, lakes, forests, rivers, darkness, and clouds. And the third part, the garden of righteousness. I saw 7 high mountains, which were higher than the mountains of the east. Out of them proceed frost, and days and years traverse them in due season. I saw 7 rivers upon the earth, larger than all the rivers. One of them emerges from the west, and empties its waters into the great sea. 2 others come from the northeast to the sea, and empty their water into the Erythraean Sea, in the east. The 4 remaining ones come out of the side of the northeast to their own respective seas, 2 of them to the Erythraean Sea, and 2 of them to the Great Sea, pouring themselves therein, some say to the 7th desert. I also saw big islands in the sea of the land, 72 in the Erythraean Sea. Enoch 78. Names of the sun and the moon, waxing and waning of the moon. These are the names of the sun, the first Oriris, and the second Thomas. The moon has 4 names. Its first name is Asenia, its second Abla, the third Benes, and the 4th Era. These are the 2 great luminaries. Their roundness is like the roundness of the sky, and the magnitude of the roundness is equivalent for both. There are 7 more portions of light that move in the sun's sphere than in the moon's, and it increases in measure until 70 portions of the sun are completed. The moon comes in and goes out by the western openings in the circle via the northeast, and rises to the eastern openings upon the face of the earth. When the moon begins its cycle, it appears in the sky 1/2 of a 7th part. It will become fully illuminated from the 14th day. It completes its illumination the 15th, becoming fulfilled according to the sign of the year, and becoming 15 parts. Thus the moon waxes in 15 parts. In its waning, the moon decreases on the 4th day of 14 parts of its light. On the 2nd day, it decreases to 13 parts of its light. On the 3rd, to 12 parts. On the 4th, to 11 parts. On the 5th, to 10 parts. On the 6th, to 9 parts. On the 7th, to 8 parts. On the 8th, to 7 parts. On the 9th, to 6 parts. On the 10th, to 5 parts. On the 11th, to 4 parts. On the 12th, to 3 parts. On the 13th, to 1/2 of the preceding. On the 14th, it is all its light decreases to 1/2 of 1/7, and on the 15th, all the remaining light disappears. In certain fixed months, the moon completes its cycle every 29 days, in certain others every 28 days. every 28. Then Uriel showed me another order concerning when light is beamed into the moon, from which direction of the bright sun it is beamed, during all the seasons which the moon is made to run its cycle. The light is being beamed into it, the moon facing the sun, until the illumination of the moon is completed of the course of the 15 days, and when it is lit completely, it radiates light in the sky. On the first day it is called the new moon, because on that day the illumination begins to set upon it. These illuminations are completed with exactitude on the day when the sun descends into the west and the moon simultaneously rises in the east in the evening, shining during the night until the sun rises opposite it and it is over against the sun, from the same side where the light entered the moon. From there also it gradually wanes until all the illumination disappears on the day of the moon, and the days of the moon expire, its disk empty without light. The moon coordinates in respect to its days and seasons for 3 months divisions. In the course of its recession it makes 3 months each in 30 days and 3 months each in 29 days. During this season it makes its recession in the first period, starting in the first gate, in 177 days. In the course of the progression it appears 3 months each in 30 days and 3 months each in 29 days. By night it appears like a man, and by day it appears like the sky. For there is no other thing in it except its light. Enoch 79, conclusion of the vision of the astronomical laws. Now, my son, I have revealed to you everything. The rules concerning all the stars of heaven are concluded here. He showed me all their respective rules for every day and for every season's authority, and for every year the procession of each one according to the commandment, every month and every week. The total discernment of the moon which it makes through and into the 6th gate. For after the light of the 6th gate is disposed from the beginning of the discernment, which it makes in returning in the 1st gate, takes place in her own season, until 177 days are fulfilled, following the rule of the weeks, 25 weeks and 2 days. The moon falls behind the sun according to the order of the stars exactly 5 days during one period in 1/2 year. And when the place which you behold has been traversed. Such is the appearance and the picture of the luminaries, of which Uriel the chief Malach, who is the leader, showed unto me. Enoch 80. The vegetable and fruit shall not grow in its season. In those days the angel Uriel responded and said to me, Behold, I have shown you everything, Enoch, and I have revealed everything to you, so that you might see the sun, the moon, and those that guide the stars of heaven, as well as those who interchange the activities in their seasons and rotate their processions. In respect to their days, the sinner and the winter are cut short. Their seeds shall lag behind in their lands and in their fertile lands and in their activities upon the earth. He will turn and appear in their time and withhold rain, and the sky shall stand still at that time. Then the vegetables shall slacken and not grow in its season, and the fruit shall not be born in its proper season. The moon shall alter its order and will not be seen according to its normal cycles. In those days it will appear in the sky, and it shall arrive in the evening in the extreme ends of the great lunar path in the west, and it shall shine more brightly, exceeding the normal degree of light. Many of the chiefs of the stars shall make errors in respect to their orders given to them. They shall change their courses and functions, and not appear during the seasons which have been prescribed for them. All the orders of the stars shall harden and in disposition against the sinners in the conscience of those who dwell upon the earth. They, the stars, shall err again them, the sinners, and modify all their courses. Then they the sinners. Then they the sinners shall err and take them the stars to be gods. The evil things shall be multiplied upon them, and plagues shall come upon them, so as to destroy it all. Enoch 81, the heavenly book of Enoch's mission. Then he said unto me, Enoch, look at the tablets of heaven, read what is written upon them, and understand each element on them one by one. So I looked at the tablets of heaven and read all the writing on them, and came to understand everything. I read the book and all the deeds of humanity and all the children of the flesh upon the earth for the generations of the world. At that very moment I blessed great Yahweh, the King of splendor forever, for he has created all the phenomena in the world. I praised Yahweh because of his patience, and I wept on account of the children of the people upon the earth. After that I said, blessed is the man who dies righteous and upright, against whom no record of oppression has been written, and who received no judgment on that day. Then the 7 Kadesh ones brought me and placed me on the ground in front of the gate of the house, and said to me, make everything known to your son Methuselah, and show to all your children that no one of the flesh can be just before Yahweh, for they are merely his own creation. We shall let you stay with your son for 1 year, so that you may teach your children another law and write it down for them, and give all of them a warning. And in the 2nd year you shall be taken away from among all of them. Let your heart be strong, for the upright shall announce righteousness to the upright, and the righteous ones shall rejoice with the righteous ones, and congratulate each other. But the sinners shall die together with the sinners, and the apostate shall sink together with the apostate. And those who do right shall not die on account of the evil deeds of the people. It will gather on account of the deeds of the evil ones. In those days, those 7 Kadesh ones concluded speaking to me, and then I returned to my people, blessing Yahweh of the universe. Enoch 82, addition astronomical in the 4 epagomenal days, calendrical visions. Now Methuselah, my son, I shall recount all these things to you and write them down for you. I have revealed to you and given you the book concerning all these things. Preserve, my son, the book from your father's hands, in order that you may pass it to the generations of the world. I have given wisdom to you, to your children, and to those who shall become your children, in order that they may pass it in turn to their own children, and to the generations that are discerning. All the wise ones shall give praise, and wisdom shall dwell upon your consciousness. They shall not slumber, but be thinking. They shall cause their ears to listen, in order that they may learn this wisdom, and it shall please those who feast on it more than good food. Blessed are those who walk in the streets of righteousness and have no sin, like the sinners in the computation of the days in which the sun goes its course in the sky. The sun comes in through a door and rises for 30 days together with the chiefs and the thousands of orders of the stars, together with the 4th, which added to determine the intervals within the year, that is, the intervals between the 4 seasons of the year. Those who lead them along come in on 4 days. On this account there are people that err. They count them the 4 in the computation of the year. For the people make error and do not recognize them accurately, for they belong to the reckoning of the year. Truly they are recorded forever, one in the first gate, one in the 3rd, one in the 4th, and one in the 6th. The year is completed in 364 days. Yahweh of all the creation of the world has ordered for me to explain the host of heaven, has revealed to me and breathed over me concerning the luminaries, the months, the festivals, the years, and the days. He has the power in the heaven, both day and night, so that he may cause the light to shine over the people, sun, moon, and stars, and all the principles of the heaven, which revolve in their respective circuits. These are the orders of the stars, which set their respective places, seasons, festivals, and months. And these are the names of those which lead the ones that come out and go in their appointed seasons, which lead them in their respective places, orders, times, months, authorities, and locations. The 4 leaders which distinguish the 4 seasons of the year enter first. After them enter the 12 leaders of the orders which distinguish the month, and the 360 captains which divide the days in the 4 epigamial days, and leaders which divide the 4 seasons of the year. These captains over thousands are added between leader and leader, each behind a place to stand, but their leaders make the division. And these are the names of the leaders which divide the 4 seasons of the years, which are fixed: Malkiel, Memelech, Meliuel, and Nuriel. The names of those who lead them are Nuriel, Yesusiel, Elumiel. These 3 follow the leaders of the orders, as well as the 4 which follow after the 3 leaders of the orders, which follow after those leading the stations that divide the 4 seasons of the year. At the very beginning, Malachiel, whose name is called Temayan, and the sun rises and rolls, and all the days of the authority during which he reigns are 91 days. And these are the signs of the days which become manifest during the period of his authority: sweat, heat, and dryness, and all the trees bear fruit and leaves. And all the trees bear fruit, and leaves grow on all trees. There will be good harvest, rose flowers, and all the flowers which grow in the field, but the winter tree shall wither. And these are the names of the leaders which are their subordinates: Berkiel, Zalebzel, and another additional one, a captain of 1,000, named Heluiasaph. The days of the authority of this one have been completed. The next leader after him is Helamelech, whose name they call the bright sun, and the days of his light are 91 days. All these are the days of signs upon the earth: scorching heat and drought, and trees which will produce their glowing fruits and impart to them ripened ones. The sheep shall seek one another and become pregnant, and all the fruits of the earth are gathered in, and all that is in the fields as well as the winepress. These things shall take place in the day of his authority. These are the names and orders and the subordinates of those captains over thousands: Gediel, I don't know. And the name of the one that is added together with them is the captain over 1,000, called Asphrael. The days of authority of this one have been completed. And then there's like a note here. Note that the 364-day year is not an actual rotation of the earth around the sun. It is off by 1 day from the known rotation of the earth, which is the lunar month, one of 30 or 31 days a month, or 360 days a year of 12 month in the Jewish calendar, accounting for the leap year, which with each year being 365.25 days in the full solar and lunar cycle. This account of Uriel is proven to be false vision of the actual year and rotation of the solar lunar cycles. The Talmud record shows that the Hebrew year in original form was 12 months, a year and 30 days. Every 7th year